Hello, it's Outline Man, and here's Pokemon. All right, that's it.
Alright, so this is definitely a callback to Pokemon Yellow, but with a modern day flair. So they basically had a TV and then had poor little Pikachu just jump right out of that TV like it was nothing. He's supposed to hype you up, and then, for the kids, he's supposed to have that Q factor charm. So right now, Pokemon also did something where they introduced a bunch of different language types. So that's kind of cool though, because a lot of games don't introduce multiple language types. So for our purposes, we're going to be picking English. All right, and yes, I definitely want to be picking English. And as a precursor and a warning to people that has made it this far, this video will contain spoilers, so I recommend that you beat the game of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Unless you want to be spoiled. So let's begin game. Alright, so Pikachu scaring the living daylights out of us. As a kid that's 10, we get to see Pikachu just all up in our face when we wake up. Here go Professor Oak. Professor Oak's looking a little bit slimmer in design. It's quite frankly due to Pokemon Let's Go smaller hybrid realism slash chibi art style, which is proportionally not sound, but he also wants to switch up the mode and he just let go of a Cubone. So that's kind of new. He's basically telling you that this world is inhabited by these strange creatures. Yeah, so many strange creatures. There's a rock snake over there. There's a bird. There's a muscle guy over there. There's a duck. All right. Professor Oak's over here just spouting nonsense. So also, if you're new to the Pokemon series, back in the day when they made Red and Blue, you were just stuck with your default character design. There was no female character for you to choose either. Apparently, from the timeline Pokemon, this is seems like an alternate dimension because you're not being red, and the female counterpart you're not picking green. This is some new guy who's inhabiting this world. As you can see, you can be somewhat different shades. Pokemon still needs to work on that because you still have the same hairstyle and everything. So we're just going to pick the generic one. We have to come up with a name. So, as I mentioned before, his name is definitely not Red, so I don't even know what to call this dude. I'll call him Fake. Our personal trainer will be Fake. We could have given him a more complex and nuanced name like Imposter, but we'll call him Fake for now. Alright, so we picked our name and we've chosen what we need to choose. Spoilers alert, this Pikachu is definitely going to be the Pokemon we get. Alright, so this boy is definitely not Gary, and he seems to be in some type of latex swim gear. Alright, so we'll pick his name. Well, I guess he'll be the opposite of us. We'll just make him real. I can already see that people are going to be complaining about the name choices, but for our purposes, it does not change the gameplay. So let's just call him real and let's proceed. Alright, so his name is Rio. Oh, Pikachu is already scaring me again. He keeps showing up. So now Pikachu is going to the light, so I'm assuming that Pikachu is having a death scene right now because he's smiling at us before he goes, and he says, "Let's go," and then he jumped into the light. It's never to be seen again. Thanks, Pikachu. Alright, what's that? A flashing LED TV? Now you can see how there's a Nintendo Switch as a game console, which is definitely a departure from what we had in Red and Blue. At the time, we just had Game Boys. And he has the blue Joy-Con, which is hilarious because that's not the one I'm using, but it is what it is. Right there, he has a plushie of Pikachu. He basically has a scaled desk. And this entire room is for more or less supposed to be a replica of his room in red and blue. This TV, however, is definitely a smart TV, so that couldn't be congruent. Here's his bed. Here's his laptop. If you look at that poster up there, he has Nidorino versus Gengar. That was the original intro in Pokemon Red and Blue. Well, let's go. Let's check the PC and see if we can get a potion like in the old games. Nope. It seems that the PC has turned into a tutorial. Alright. So immediately we're going down the stairs and let's see what's coming up now. Oh, our rival. Morning Fake. We're going to have a kick out of that name, I see. So, there's been a trend with Pokemon games how they've been making your rival less and less more of a smug antagonist to you and more of a helpful person that's just going to get beat all day. And they're very generous and they give you lots of items and motivation. It's quite the departure from the old Pokemon games. Right now, here's our mom. Seemingly, she's a darker shade, so we definitely picked the wrong shade, but we just wanted to go with the generic one because we were too lazy. Alright, she said nothing to me, basically, so let's go ahead and proceed. So, out here you can see that the buildings are 3D modeled now. They're not from a super... I guess you could kind of say that they're top-down perspective, but not as much as they used to be back in the day. First time you would play this game, you would think that you would go into the Pokemon Center and that would be how you would choose your Pokemon. But however, you're going to have to objectively run into this grass. So let's see how this game does it. As you see Professor Oak, he's with 3 Pidgeys. He understands these Pidgeys. Those Pidgeys are flying away. Alright, Professor Oak's over here approaching, and he looks like he's about to take us out. But he wants you to understand the nuances of this Pokemon world. So, very small Pikachu is skedaddled right out of the grass, and he definitely looks at me kind of funny. So now the game wants to introduce a wild encounter to you for the first time. So, as you can see, they're telling you to point the Joy-Con at the television. Press the A button and everything, so you have this get ready post. You have a bag, help, and a runaway menu. Our only selectable option right now is get ready. So let's get ready. And classic Pokemon humor, they're showing you the motions of how to actually throw the Pokeball. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw the Pokeball kind of like them. Let's see if we can get a good shot. An excellent shot. I don't believe that, but that's what Pokemon chooses to tell me. And you cannot fail this catch. This catch has to have 100% catch rate, otherwise the game stops here. So, because this was a scripted catch, the game chose not to go through an entire cinematic of registering him on the Pokedex, also because we don't have the Pokedex up at this moment. It's also kind of weird how Pikachu's able to move in the Pokeball. And I guess that's a more creative way of getting you to the Pokemon Center next and preemptively. So now you have our rival who we've named Real, who's waiting because he's been on time. He didn't know that we had the scripted scene. That one that's jumping should obviously be Pikachu. Our rival is probably going to have an Eevee. And it's actually quite strange that we don't know what this third Pokemon is. It's funny how the game just forces us to pick that Pikachu. I want Eevee though, man. It's not my fault I brought Let's Go Pikachu. So we're going to go ahead and pick the Pikachu because the game will not let us choose the other starters. Our character is basically putting his hand on this Pikachu like he's the chosen one. And this Pikachu is not as violent as the Pikachu in the anime was to Ash. That Pikachu pretty much hated Ash, but we'll deal with this Pikachu. Of course. Alright, he's doing his dance because we have to advertise for the kids. Have to be as cute as he can possibly be. So Pikachu's doing his little jump, his little stance, his It's whatever, because we have to be as cute as possible for the kids. So now we have that scene that I was talking about earlier. We now are able to choose a name for our Pokemon. So I'm going to call him, let's see, we're lazy. We're going to call this Pokemon Yellow. The most creative name we can come up with. We will call him Yellow. It's also a nod to the game that this is technically a spiritual successor to, as in Pokemon Yellow. We will definitely be calling him Yellow. Alright, as you can see, Gary over there, or real, or fake Gary, whichever you will call him, he has taken the Eevee. So now we're going to try to suddenly leave, and Professor says there's one more thing. As a trainer, you will be experiencing battles, and you will also need Pokedexes. Professor Oak is going to do his thing where he wants us to collect intel in data form. Professor Oak, there was nothing in your hand that you just handed me. There was no Pokedex. That inlines an underlying problem from Pokemon, which is the classic nest problem that they've been suffering from, where basically they are not able to show certain things because of the graphical fidelity. So a lot of things are implied but not shown. And Pokemon has been having that issue for its entire runtime, even in the modern era. Curiously, we did not fight our rival. In the old red and blue version, you would fight your rival, but I guess here they want to switch it up a little bit. Also, this game has actually been severely dumbed down for kids and Pokemon Go fans. That was the marketing ploy, and that's their target audience for this game. So, as a Pokemon veteran or a fan, there are certain mechanics that have been toned down, and there are certain nuances that have changed. So as you can see, there's an Oddish and there's a Pidgey. They're clearly being shown. This is one of the new aspects of this Pokemon game. So let's go ahead and run right to that Oddish. So here's how we encounter Pokemons. No longer do we fight them. We basically can just catch them. This Oddish is on level 4 and he has a CP value. That CP value is not the same as a level up value. As you can see, we've missed the mark. We've missed again. And now they said, nice job. Will we catch this Oddish or will we run out of Pokeballs here? We've caught the Oddish. This is our first catch. Normally Oddish wouldn't be on this route, but in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, they have different liberties. So now they're telling you, they're giving you a Pokédex reference to them. They're giving you a weight class and height, which will vary in this game, by the way. Alright, so we have an Oddish. We have a grass Pokemon. Nice. Alright, so the grass, as it used to, it would spawn Pokemons, but now it does not. So now we have this kid here. Sometimes these kids, or NPCs as you will, they'll give you items or advice. I try not to talk to them because as of late they've been stingy with their items. So we're going to keep going. There's a Rattata. We're going to avoid him. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. In the old game, the route was very short. As you can see, our Pikachu has had an exclamation point. He has found the bush. What did you find for us, Pikachu? Pikachu has found the raspberry. The berries were introduced in Gen 2. The raspberry was actually introduced in Gen 3 because they made different berry types. Raspberries in this game has a different function than previous games. We'll be going over what those raspberries do when we get into an encounter with a Pokemon. So now Pikachu has found something else. He has a music note. Pikachu just likes these flowers, I see. Alright, so let's go into the Pokemon Center that has been redesigned over the years. There you have Nurse Joy with a classic Chansey. I guess she doesn't have Autonose anymore, but also because this is Kanto and Autonose does not exist in Kanto. So let's talk to Nurse Joy. She says that Pokemon Center is undergoing maintenance. Thank you, Nurse Joy. So there you can see that the screen was black for quite some time. This guy now, he wants to instruct you on how a Pokemon works. And as you can see, you have delivered Professor Oak's parcel. The parcel had to be delivered to consider the script of the game, and this is a new added feature. Instead of walking all the way back to the lab, you can actually now just teleport to the lab. So let's do that. That'll save us some time. So now we're talking to Professor Oak, and this conversation is extremely riveting. As you can see, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu is experimenting with different camera angles. An experimentation, I would imagine, to work out an engine on the Switch so that we can get a Pokemon Sword and Shield version that's actually decent. So Professor Oak is very proud of you. You've delivered this parcel. Now the game can be done now. Alright, so there's... Professor Oak is giving us a lot of raspberries. Thank you, Professor Oak. We'll go over what those do later, so don't worry about it. Alright, so he's somewhat smug, but I don't know if he's Gary Oak levels or Blue levels. So let's attempt to leave, and now we've been prompted to do our battle. Alright, so the game gave us some time to actually level up and everything, but we didn't take advantage of it. So now we're going to be fighting Eevee. So now he throws out his Eevee. He wants us to be so scared of his Eevee. Alright, we got our Pikachu. We'll call him Yellow. Alright, so we have moves. Tail Whip will be useless because Thunder Shock is actually a special move. So let's go ahead and use Thunder Shock. Let's see how much damage it would deal. Dealt a very healthy amount. Alright, so we're definitely faster than Eevee, so let's just keep doing Thunder Shock. 2 more Thunder Shock should do it. So Ground Lower is attack. Thunder Shock is a special move, so this will not be affecting us in the slightest. I would imagine this battle would also be scripted so that we can win. So it was in his programming to switch up his moveset and not just completely do tackle, otherwise he would kill you. Alright, so this should be the last Thunder Shock that should take him out. And we did it. We've taken down the Eevee. We'll get experience from this, enough to level up. And now our Pikachu is on level 6. And he's learned a physical move, Quick Attack. So now we can take advantage of Tail Whip. And we've gained experience points. This scene is also to show to the player that leveling up and learning moves is a thing. Because now they've made Pikachu learn Quick Attack on level 6. They've also set us up with 4 moves from here on out. We'll see what happens when we get an additional move. We'll have something that'll come into play called Choice for the players. So let's get out of Pallet Town because we hate it so much. Oh, hey, Fake. This is a very silly name. Yeah, she's giving you sportswear. This is our big sister, apparently. Pikachu's on her arm like a wristwatch, and they're also showing you something called Partner Play, where we can rub Pikachu. It's basically like a new type of Pokemon to me. Pikachu is acting as cute as possible in order to, gain the cute factor that we'll call it to basically entice his audience. We'll be leaving this mode and we'll be never returning again because it's basically forms as a distraction of the game. So let's continue our journey. We're going to basically walk through this grass and ignore people. After Gen X and Y, or you could call it Gen 6, they've introduced a mechanic where you could increase your experience points by catching Pokemons. This game actually evolves that mechanic of getting experience with catching Pokemons to the point of you can actually get more experience from catching Pokemons than actually go trainer battle. So now we're going to fight this youngster. we're going to go ahead and let's test out our new move, Quick Attack, to display the animation. Quick Attack will always go fast. It's always going to have priority unless the other Pokemon speed stat is higher and they're using a move of equal priority. So Quick Attack did half the damage. Let's do Quick Attack one more time and this should finish off our Rattata. Perfect. As you can see, we've gained 12 experience points. And we've beat the youngster. He's also given us 3 Pokeballs, which is new. This Pokemon game encourages you to catch Pokemons nonstop. So not only will you be receiving money for beating your trainers, you will also be receiving Pokeballs. That is a Pokemon Center. Correct. I understand that is a Pokemon Center. Let's go inside the Pokemon Center now. Let's see if they're still undergoing maintenance. Hopefully not. We'll press the start button now, and then we will open the menu button. That is pressed by pressing the X button or the up arrow on whichever Joy-Con control scheme you have. We're going to select Party. As you can see, our yellow or Pikachu has taken damage from his previous scruffle with the Eevee. So right now, he has something called hit points or health points, whichever you want to call them. His maximum health points is 23, and right now he's registering a 20 out of a 23. So that means he's taking damage and he's not at full health. So we're going to go to the Pokemon Center, and we're going to let our Pokemons rest with the Pokemon Center. By letting our Pokemons rest in the Pokemon Center, she will rejuvenate our Pokemons, basically restoring their health or hit points, and curing any status ailments they may have been afflicted on. Also, they're actually able to restore their move points, which are called PP points, power points, if you will. So let's leave. So now we're going to keep going on our journey. This town is a very interesting town in Pokemon, where we actually have our first gym, but we're not able to go into it. We won't be returning to that gym until the end of the game. So let's continue to move forward. Right now we've made to Route 2, but we'll be backtracking because we're going to need cut for later on sequences, which this game also does something new with the HMs. So we're going to go ahead to the left path. Now we're on Route 22. Notice how that number is a lot higher than Route 1 or 2. That's because this is the sufficient direction that you will be traveling to get to the Pokemon League, also displayed by your rival. Our rival will be battling us right now. He'll probably win because his Pokemon should be sufficiently scaled up, while we've done nothing but hold on to an Oddish. If you notice, you have Pidgey, which is good for us because we have this Pikachu. This Pidgey is very low level. The rival basically had a stronger level Pidgey in the original game to about level 7 or 9. This is to make sure that you get your confidence boost and you don't lose, just in case you accidentally went on Route 22. This is what we meant when dumbing the game down. So now we're going to be fighting his Eevee. We're not going to switch Pokemons. We're going to keep our Pikachu in because our Oddish is probably good for nothing. So this Eevee is only made to level 7. Let's go ahead and use Growl on this Eevee. Once we use Growl, we'll basically set up this Eevee to be a lot weaker in his physical output moves than he would normally be. So now that we've curved this Eevee, we could use Growl 6 times to completely fodderize his attack power. We'll use it one more time to reduce his attack power even further. Eevee also learns that Quick Attack on the same level that our Pikachu did. However, he doesn't have the advantage that our Pikachu has at the moment of having a special type move. So we're going to hit him with Thunder Shock now. And let's see how much this does. We should be able to tank his Pokemon. But, as you can see, he's using Quick Attack. So we're going to keep battling this Eevee. We're going to use Thundershock again. And now this Eevee, as you can see, is very more proactive than he used to be. We're going to use Thundershock one more time. This Eevee has basically been doing a pattern of Tackle, and Quick Attack. But 4 Thundershocks took him out. So now we're done with Eevee. We've gained 37 experience points and we've leveled up. Cool. Now we've reached level 7. And our Oddish has leveled up too. Also in the Pokemon games, there's been an experience all mechanic, where you can get experience for Pokemons that are not even participating in the battles. So we can literally just go through the game with only using Pikachu while the other Pokemons benefit. People have had mixed feelings about that mechanic, whether it's for the good or whether it's for the bad. I reserve judgment on that mechanic, and in some aspects it's a good thing because it speeds up the game. So now we're going to head towards this Indigo Plateau, or the room before the Elite Four, where they basically check your gym badges. This guy should be checking our gym badge for Pewter City, which we do not have the Boulder badge yet. So he will not let us pass, even if we try to. He'll tell us, hey man, you have to beat the first gym. So we're going to leave this room, but we'll be coming back here towards the end of the game. It's funny how Pokemon Red and Blue has took it upon themselves to show you in-game content, but not give you access to it at the beginning. Here we have a Nidoran. Let's go ahead and catch it. I'm a sucker for a Nidoran, which is supposed to be one of the most iconic Pokemons of this generation. Let's catch the Nidoran, hopefully. I would like the Nidoran to escape so we can see a Pokemon not getting caught, but we're apparently that lucky. So we now have a Nidoran. There's been a reason why we're not naming these Pokemons, because since this game is a spiritual successor or a remake of Pokemon Yellow instead of Red or Blue, we will be gaining the 3 starters over the course of this journey. There's no harm in us catching more Pokemons. Let's go ahead and catch this Rattata. As we've said before, we're actually gaining experience from catching these Pokemons. And they've given us so many Pokeballs, we have 50 Pokeballs, which is kind of absurd. But the game will scale to giving you more experience from catching Pokemon, so that's something we definitely will be doing. Alright, our Oddish has leveled up to level 6. Alright, cool. Our Rattata destroying the party with a interesting Pokedex description. The Pokedex descriptions were actually obfuscated and not in Pokemon Sun and Moon, original base version, which was kind of sad to see. They give you a little bit of flavor text and a little bit of lore of what the Pokemons do in this day and age. So now, our Pikachu has been weakened in its battle. He basically did all the work, so we're going to head to the Pokemon Center and we're going to rejuvenate our Pikachu. Now the player has also learned that these Pokemon Centers are critical. They basically are your saving graces. This is what also makes the Pokemon game a lot easier than it otherwise would be. If you notice something strange about this Pokemon Center, it's something that we didn't bring up. It's the fact that there's no PC. Well, that's because Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee has took it upon themselves to change the Pokemon retrieval process. What do I mean by that? Let's hit the X button. Let's go to the menu. Let's go to party. If you look, there's a Y button that we can press. Let's hit the Y button. This is our Pokemon box. We're able to store our Pokemons in this Pokemon box, and we're able to withdraw, and we're able to change them at will, which is a nice touch. If we hit the confirm button, which will be the A button, or the right D-pad button for the blue Joy-Con, we're able to select options. We can remove from party, which will basically take them out of our party. We can move the Pokemon. We can check the summary. Let's go ahead and check the summary. As you can see, our nature is quirky, which is a very generic nature that neither improves or belittles our stats. It's a neutral nature. it shows you when we met our Pokemon, the date. As you can see, this is on October 17th, 2019. And it also says that you've met this Pokemon in Pallet. And then if you go to characteristics, which is right down below, it says that our Pikachu likes to thrash about. This subsection is actually a hint on what his IVs are geared towards. Disclaimer, this Pikachu actually has very high IVs. Since this Pikachu is the scripted Pikachu, his IVs are actually higher than normal. That likes to thrash about comment means that his IVs are particularly high in attack value. So our attack move should be more potent when we get more of them other than quick attack down the line. So now we're going to hit A for more details. Now we're able to see his actual stats at this level. Speed of 24, defense of 14, attack of 19, HP of 25, special attack of 17, special defense of 15. And we have his moveset: Thunder Shock, Growl, Tail Whip, Quick Attack. It gives you more details about the move. Thunder Shock being a power of 40 move with 30 PP. Those power points are our usage points. We can use this move 30 times. However, the Pokemon Center will revitalize that and boost it back up to its normal Q. So you can also move the spots of the moves. So seeing how... Whoops, that was an accident. Seeing how Quick Attack is right down here, and we will definitely probably be using it. We'll hit the Y button, and then we'll move to the spot that we want to put Quick Attack, and we'll put it above Growl. Because these moves are more than likely going to be replaced. These type of tactics do not lend well for the Pokemon's gameplay. So, we're also going to hit another button where we're going to hit A again to hit more info. As you can see, this is our Oddish, who's a lax nature, a jolly nature, which I love jolly natures because they emphasize in speed and they lower attack. I love jolly natures, but not for this Nidoran. Alright, so let's proceed to the game. So we're going to keep moving with our Pikachu. That's apparently on our back because we just have to have the cute factor, of course. So let's keep going on our routes. We're on Route 2 now. We're going to keep pressing forward. Now that the Pokemon encounters are life size, figuratively speaking, scaled down into the game size, we can avoid Pokemons now. So now we are not forced to run into those Pokemons. We can avoid trainers. We can avoid anything we want. Let's go ahead and fight this guy, if he is indeed a trainer. As we can see, he is not. This is the Viridian Forest. It's basically a one-to-one representation of how it was in the old days. This forest has been known for your first encounter with the bug species, notably Caterpie and... is there another Pikachu? Let's catch this Pikachu. This Pikachu is unlike our Pikachu, so this Pikachu will be able to evolve into an actual Raichu. We're going to go back. We're going to reach into our bag and we're going to use a raspberry. As I mentioned before, this raspberry has a different purpose in this game. These raspberries actually makes our catch rate a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and use the raspberry on the Pikachu. Now this Pikachu is more acclimated to being caught. Let's throw the Pokeball. It told us we had a great. Let's see if it was as great as it said it was. We've succeeded. We've never failed so far to catch a Pokeball. And there you go. Everyone's getting experience. They also made the HUD a little bit more colorful. I actually appreciate that. It says level up. And it's more vividly construed to actually showing and displaying an actual good layout. Again, this is for kids. The boring layout that we had before when you would just see a scrolling text bar of this Pokemon leveled up, this Pokemon learned a new move, is not conducive for captivating the attention span of a young kid. So now that we have this, we're able to capture that attention span. And the player gets immediate feedback that we have indeed leveled up, which is cool. We'll not be naming this Pikachu either because we do not care about it too much. Alright, we've gotten the tiny mushroom item. So now we're going to keep proceeding, and we see all these bug Pokemons. Right here, this Pikachu has a red aura. Let's go to him. As you can see, this Pikachu is apparently huge. That just means his size is just greater than normal. We could catch this huge Pikachu. He might even be hard to catch. Let's see. Let's throw a Pokeball at him. And we have finally failed to catch Pokemon. Whether that be that we did not use Raspberry, this Pikachu is at level 6, has a higher CP value, or is heavier. All of those factors may apply. Let's use Raspberry. And now we're going to catch this Pikachu for the second time. These Pokemons have animations. In order to catch these Pokemons, you must catch them in between those animations. If we try to throw our Pokeball while he's in this animation, we will not be able to catch him. Let's demonstrate. There you have it. Pikachu's in this animation. We're not able to catch him. So, patience is a virtue. You have to wait and anticipate how this Pikachu would move. We failed again. We have a gauge meter. Basically, as that little circle enters the center, your chances of catching the Pokemon are greater. This is a carryover from Let's Go Pikachu, where they basically catch Pokemons in a similar fashion, if not the same fashion. Although playing it on a smartphone or smart device allows you to actually do swirly moves and a touch-based interface, while we're using a motion-based interface, which is our difference. But that's neither here nor there. As we keep going, we've also learned of another new mechanic called a catch combo. We've caught 2. It says keep it up. These catch combos will increase your odds of finding rare Pokemons, and it will also increase your odds of finding more special particular Pokemons with higher IVs, whether that be a higher IV value or a higher size value or even a smaller size value. As you can see, if we catch this Pikachu, well, our chain will go to 3. So let's demonstrate. Let's go ahead and catch this Pikachu. It's huge, apparently. It's funny that the game allowed me to throw that Pokeball and actually be in the vicinity because I was sure I missed. So we caught Pikachu. This should be a 3rd chain. As you can see, we're just getting massive amounts of experience. We haven't even fought a trainer. This is the fatal flaw of this game. It's possible to just keep getting Pokemons because they supply us with so many Pokeballs and we can keep catching them. And then if we do that, we can basically just overlevel. For our purposes, we won't be doing too much of that. But right now we're trying to demonstrate the mechanics of exactly how to interact and catch these Pokemons. So everybody leveled up from that Pikachu. That Pikachu was definitely a pretty high-ranked Pikachu. He's not better than our Pikachu. Our Pikachu was actually top-notch. The Pikachu we have has to be good because the Pikachu we have will not only learn moves that it should not be able to learn, it would also have higher stats, base stats. That way that Pikachu can be used without evolving the entire time. Let's catch Caterpie. By going after a different Pokemon, and if we catch this Caterpie, we'll be breaking our chain. Apparently this Caterpie is also huge, even though it looks to be relatively the same size as any regular normal Caterpie. That's because we've mentioned it before, that Pokemon suffers from the classic nest problem, where they're able to demonstrate by telling you, but they're not able to show you. So we're not able to show that Caterpie is indeed bigger, but we will tell you that he is. So let's learn Double Kick. We'll get rid of Focus Energy because the critical hit rate thing is an RNG based mechanic, and we'll not be relying on RNG for actually taking down these Pokemons. We'll rely on pure stats and pure moveset. So now we're registering this Caterpie into our Pokedex. As you may notice, this game is extremely geared towards you catching Pokemons. That's because not only is it conducive to its more mechanic, catching Pokemons is actually the draw and attraction to this game and franchise as a whole. So they wanted to double down on the catching features. So as you can see in this battle, this is actually the Viridian Forest. No longer are we constricted to those old, generic, bogus scenes of this could be any zone. Now it's actually the zone that you're in, which is a nice touch. Pikachu has done his quick attack and he's one-shot the Weedle. Could you blame it? It's at level 3. This guy came out here with a Weedle at level 3 and expect to do some stuff. No way. This game is not only too easy, this game is, well, it's not going to let me fail at a point like this. So now I'm going to get the Pokeball, which has given me 5 Pokeballs. That's a Bulbasaur. We're going to leave that Bulbasaur alone. Now we're going to go catch this Pidgey. This is a new Pokemon for us, even though we've seen Pidgey, and Pidgey is usually only supposed to be in Route 1. But again, this Let's Go Pikachu basically threw all those rules out the window, and they basically threw Pokemons wherever they felt like it. So we have a Pidgey now, which is good. Now that we have this Pidgey, we're going to swap him actually onto our team so we can gain experience. So now here's us swapping a Pokemon out. We can definitely swap out one of these Pikachus because this Pikachu was supposed to be better. Let's move this Pikachu. Let's move him here. That didn't swap him out, but it moved the location. So let's remove this one from party. And let's add this one to the party. There, he's now added to the party. Let's remove this one from the party. And let's add Pidgey to the party. Let's also remove Rattata from the party. And let's add Caterpie for the party. So at least now we have a diverse mix. Let's keep going throughout the forest. We have another trainer that's called an eye. So for the most part, this game is pretty much just a very chilling game for you to play. Chilling is you're supposed to chill and play this game lackadaisically and not really devote too much effort and strenuous brain activity to playing it. You're supposed to play Pokemon and have a good time. That's pretty much how they decided to make this game. Its game design speaks for itself. Now we also have animations in our trainers. Before, they used to be still images that would just never show up, or they would just be sprites. Is that a Butterfree we see? Let's go towards that Butterfree. This will also demonstrate that this Butterfree not only can exist in this forest. If you look at his catch rate, it should be higher, indicated by the orange line, and he's moving around. So, let's attempt to catch this Butterfree. It'll more than likely fail, but let's see. We've missed because of its moving. So let's try again. We've done a bad throw. Catching this Butterfree is a pain in the neck, but let's keep trying. It feels impossible to even aim the Pokeball at the Butterfree. They told us it's an excellent throw. However, our chances of catching this Butterfree is pretty slim. Yet, every time I say it, we've catched the Pokemon. So now we have a fully evolved Pokemon on our crew already. This reiterates the fact that Pokemon has no rules. They'll be basically putting whatever Pokemons they feel like in whatever given route that they have. So we already have a Butterfree caught. And as you can see, that Butterfree is giving us a massive amount of experience. Our Caterpie will become a Butterfree in no time because of that capture of the Butterfree. So that was an interesting Pokemon to find at that moment. So let's proceed. Let's keep going through the forest. Let's try to get out of here. We will ignore that kid for now. Let's keep going. We went the wrong way. Apparently, we've forgotten the layout of the most basic forest in the game since the beginning, even though the layout has definitely not changed. As an old Pokemon player, the grass just traumatized me. We're used to avoiding the patches of grass, and most of the old design and layout was conducive to having the grass be an obstacle in your way. So the game design and the level layout is intertwined with the grass and spawn rate of Pokemon. So it's interesting that they've made these main Pokemon encounters, but the old game design is there. If this game was a newly designed game that was built from the ground up without the old design choices of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, then it could have been an interesting game. However, they needed their nostalgia trip in order to actually promote it to its audience. He seemed so expressive and so mortified that I took him out, but it was so easy for me. So I'm going to keep going. Over here is a trainer. Let's go and fight this trainer. We're basically going to one-shot this trainer. Not only is our Pikachu over-leveled, our Pikachu is overstated. This Pikachu has the max amount of IVs across the board. Also, this Pikachu has higher base stats than a normal Pikachu. And a normal Pikachu pretty much has pretty good base stats for at least under-evolved Pokemons at this level. So you can imagine that the curve of this Pikachu failing is pretty much impossible. Also, this Pikachu will also be learning Double Kick, so that we can't fail against Brock when we make it to him. They're still giving us Pokeballs. This game really wants us to catch Pokemons. We see another Butterfree. If we catch another Butterfree, we will definitely be getting level ups. We'll not be catching that Butterfree because it's a pain in the neck. We got lucky last time we caught that Butterfree, and our luck will run short. So we definitely will not be catching that Butterfree again. And now he has a Kakuna, which is the evolved state of Weedle. This Kakuna is supposed to be evolved at level 7, but considering that this game allows you to catch any Pokemon you want at any level, it's actually realistic for him to have a Kakuna at this stage. It doesn't feel like he's cheating now, which is something we could not say for the old Pokemon games, where if they had a Pokemon that was on a level that it could not possibly be without hacking, it would look like they're cheated. So at least now, these trainers having these under-level Pokemons that are evolved actually makes sense in this game, which is a nice touch. At least as far as continuity is. So that's one positive for this Pokemon game. Wow, I'm actually seeing lots and lots of Butterfrees, which is weird because I usually don't. But that's neither here nor there. So, here comes the next trainer. Let's see exactly what she has. I don't think she's increased from the curve. The curve seems to be 3 to 4. I don't think any of these trainers will surpass 4. But let's see. She has a Pidgey, which is good for her to have a Pidgey because they're assuming that you caught these bugs or grass Pokemons inside this route. Meaning, a Pidgey would pretty much take them out if you're inclined to not use this Pikachu and train them. But we'll be using this Pikachu because this Pikachu will be one of our mainstays on our team. We'll flesh out the rest of the team as we go. We'll basically be catching the Pokemons that are handed to us. We could easily catch Pokemons and work hard and train them, but we're not going to do that. So, we've ran into this Caterpie spawn. Again, this game wants you to catch Pokemon, so let's catch Caterpie. If we catch this Caterpie, it will give us more experience than actually beating those trainers with Caterpies, which is hilarious in this game. So let's see. We've caught in Caterpie. Are we actually able to do something with that? 12 XP. Caterpie's going straight to the bag. Alright, let's keep going. Let's proceed through the forest. As we make our way, we're going to keep going. We can read these signs. These signs actually give a little bit of flavor text and lore. It gives you trainer tips. And we will not be using those. So right here is the next trainer. We've ran into an Oddish. Let's catch the Oddish. Let's gain more experience points. The game is so heavily focused on you catching these Pokemons in order to balance out the level curve. Now, you want to catch Pokemons and do trainer battles in order to sufficiently be on a adequate level to do what you need to do in this game. And we have an extra Oddish. So I know what you're thinking. Why allow us to catch more Pokemons? Why do they want us to catch duplicates of Pokemons? And I'll have that answer for you when we demonstrate. However, now is not the time to demonstrate. So now he has a Metapod, which is supposed to be the evolved form of Caterpie. And it's on level 3. We're going to hit him with Thundershock and we're going to take out that Caterpie. I'm sorry, we're going to take out that Metapod. Please ignore the fact that I said Caterpie. And his stats were roughly the same as the Kakuna. The Kakuna also survived my Thundershock and did not get one-shotted. Unlike every other Pokemon getting one-shotted. Because it's not even their fault. They're just too weak. Let's catch this Kakuna. Or this Metapod. Now we're just name dropping everybody. We're mixing up everything. This Metapod is on a pretty high level, level 6. We should get a decent amount of experience from catching this Metapod. Enough to hopefully level up Pikachu so they can learn Double Kick so that we can just breeze through Brock. That's the goal at this point. Unfortunately, we did not gain enough experience points. But we gained enough for our Caterpie to evolve into a Metapod. So now we're going to show evolution. What? Caterpie is evolving? Of course. They've changed these evolution scenes over the year. This is actually not so bad. This is probably one of their better attempts to actually looking like the anime. And there you have it. Caterpie has evolved into Metapod. And Metapod has learned to move Harden. His most infamous and famous move in the anime. That's basically all he did. So let's continue. Over here we have this trainer, who I do not care about. He's talking about CP. We'll get to that in due time. Right now we found the Caterpie. Let's go ahead and catch this Caterpie, because we're still grinding experience. This is a funny design choice that they made, but we're going to be utilizing it to the fullest. If you don't take advantage of it, you will suffer in this game. So there's a way of making the game more difficult by just not catching Pokemons. If you want to do that, that's possible. It'll make the game much difficult. You could also catch Pokemons and just keep switching them. There are alternate ways of making this game difficult. However, if you play the way the developers intended you to play, this game is a walk in the park, and this game is pretty easy. So now we've made it to Pewter City. This is technically our first place where we can actually find a gym leader. And we also are introduced to another change, where they made our rival immediately single us out and come up to us. Is he going to fight us, or is he going to help us? Oh, he's giving us 5 potions. He prepared us. This is what we said before, how these trainers are now your best friend instead of your rival, which you're supposed to be motivated to defeat. Go figure. So now that we're in Pewter City, we could buy items, which we haven't explored the Pokemon, so let's do that. Alright, here's the Pokemart. He shows us how much money we have on the top left. And he shows us what items we can prepare and get. We can get Pokeballs. If you notice, these Pokeballs are 100 yen or whatever their currency is supposed to be called. That's a big departure for what Pokeballs used to cost, which was 200. They've also made Pokeballs cheaper and more abundant so that you never run out of Pokeballs. Potions are 200, which is a departure for 300, but we made that change in later gens. Antidotes are 200. We have burn heals, we have ice heals, we have awakenings, we have paralyzed heals. All items that I'm not going to buy. Over here you have people that are right outside of the Pokemart just looking at like soda can pops, which we cannot buy. These are the potions. And it looks like those are ethers over there too. There's a poster of a Pokeball, which is hilarious. So, there's even a point for decoration, so let's leave. That screen stayed black for a little bit longer than I would like. Is that Chill Dude? As you can also see, there are Pokemons that are just chilling in the atmosphere. Here's a Chill Dude who's just saying dude. Here's a hiker who definitely better not attempt to battle me. So this is pretty much Pewter City. Here we should have the Pokemon Museum. Let's check it out. As we walk into the Pokemon Museum, he says it's $50 for kids. Alright, I'll pay it. I've made the transaction, and that's the price it was in the original game. Here you can see foreshadowing of the fossil Pokemons we will soon get. This is Kabutops. That's Aerodactyl over there. Doesn't look like a fossil to me, looks like a statue. Alright, and these guys are talking about the space exhibit, which is exactly what was here in the original one, but also this could be looked as a very strange nod to what happens in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. However, that's neither here nor there for us. Let's keep going. Alright, let's make our way up out of here. This is a cool distraction, but for 50 yen, we've basically done nothing, so let's leave. We'll be returning here later because there's certain fossil Pokemon that we need to resurrect, and we're definitely going to need them. There we have Butterfree and a little girl. So now we have the Pewter City Gym, which is right over there. So now the game wants to do a little bit of basic platforming by making us just basically walk around the building, which is kind of hilarious. So we've entered the building, and they've basically showed you what they spent the budget on this game. Scenery. We see the two trainers. We see this guy immediately greets us, which is a big departure for what they used to do. They would just let you go in and nothing would be added. This guy wants to see if you're actually worthy of fighting them. He's a type checker. Seeing how the Pewter City is going to be rock types, he wants us to have a grass or water Pokemon on our party, or he will not let us even participate. I'll select Oddish to prove to him that I have one. That's exactly what he wants to see. If he doesn't see it, he doesn't let us go. So, now that we have confirmed that we have Oddish, we should probably even use this Oddish because, quite frankly, there's no way that our Pikachu is going to defeat them in a timely manner. He'll defeat them, but it'll be a grind battle. Let's fight the first trainer. As soon as our Pikachu learns Double Kick, we won't need Oddish anymore, which is hilarious. So, these are the trainers, which are optional. We could run around her and pass that rock, but we're going to fight her because we're going to get this experience. Her first Pokemon is a Geodude, because we don't have many rock Pokemon to display at the early stages of this game. So, let's go ahead and use Absorb to actually absorb. No pun intended, but to actually take the energy of that Geodude. We've done it. We one-shotted him. Not only is that Geodude rock, this Geodude is also ground and rock. So grass is actually effective to rock and ground. So this Oddish is nothing but destruction for the rock and ground ones. So let's demonstrate that we can walk around this trainer and avoid them. We just did. However, we're going to fight this trainer because we want the experience. Not that there's much experience to get. So now let's see what this trainer has to offer us. This trainer is offering us the same Pokemon, Geodude, because we have not that many rock Pokemons to actually display and show. So we're going to use Exorb. We won't even dream of using Acid. If anything, Acid is a poison move and these Geodudes are resistant to it. And that's how we take care of the trash. Trash is also a term they would throw around as trainers or fights or battles that amount to nothing in the end of the day. They don't help improve your skills. They don't make you think harder. They don't make you do anything. They're just trash. So now we see Brock. We see Brock in his new redesigned coat, which he likes. This Brock is not to be confused with the Brock from the anime. He's a different character entirely. In fact, the Pokemon games continuity and the anime continuity have always been different. So you could imagine that Let's Go Pikachu being an alternate dimension from the main Pokemon Red and Blue game, it would stand to reason that this is definitely a different dimension. Okay, this Oddish is going to take out this Geodude with Exorb. Wow, a one-shot. It's funny that an Oddish that we've never used in battle until now is able to completely destroy this entire gym. Oh, our mistake. Pikachu is learning Double Team on this level. We'll get it. It'll increase its invasion. We'll be using Oddish to take down his last Pokemon, which should be an Onix. Let's see when Brock will send out that Oddish. There it is, an Onix. We'll keep battling. We'll use our Oddish. That Onix is supposed to be big and tough. However, his stats are actually more high on the defensive side than actual attack. Oddish tanked that. And now Oddish will recover health. And one-shot this Onix. This is embarrassing, Brock. We were able to take you out with just one Oddish. And it was not hard. Again, this Oddish gained a lot of experience points throughout the journey without even fighting. So this Oddish was very well leveled and on par with the actual gym leader's Pokemons. Go figure. We caught this Oddish was the first Pokemon we caught. Alright, Brock is ecstatic that I defeated him. So now you're going to see Pikachu do something that's new. He tail swiped you as a handshake. This is also a departure. Brock is giving us the TM headbutt, which is new because usually he would give us bind in the older games. But he gave us headbutt, which is pretty universal. We'll probably be able to use this TM on all of our Pokemons. So, to use a TM, we're going to hit the X button to open up the menu. We're going to go over to our bag. In our bag, it shows us, well, cases and departments for our items. Now we have something called the TM case. Now that we have a TM, let's go ahead and go to it. We have the first TM of this game, Headbutt. Headbutt is a normal move that does 70 power, 100% accuracy, and it can make a Pokemon flinch, which is RNG value and it's dependent. So, as you can see, all of these Pokemon can learn it except for Metapod. Metapod is the hardened specialist, so he can't do much. So we can literally teach this TM to all Pokemons. It used to be in the old Pokemon Red and Blue where you could only teach a TM to one Pokemon and that TM would be gone forever. And now we have successfully taught our Pikachu, or our Yellow if you will, the move Headbutt. So as you can see, it now says he knows this move, so we can't bother him with this move again. However, we have other specimens that might want to have this move. Let's give this move to Nidoran. We will be getting rid of Leer. And now Nidoran also has Headbutt. So that's enough. We really don't care about these Pokemons too much because they're not going to make the composition of our team. So now we're going to head out. And now, as soon as we're out, we're greeted by somebody that's calling us, "Hey, you there, newbie." If you notice, this seems pretty harsh. You would assume that this is our rival. However, dun dun dun, is that Blue from the base continuity of the Red and Blue games? If you didn't already guess, his name has been revealed. It's Blue. I'm Blue, he says. He has a very sinister looking smile or smirk or arrogant look to him. And he's here, which is your first indication that these two characters are not Red and Blue, because we have Blue, which is right here. He's also giving us 5 Great Balls. I guess he couldn't be too mean in a reboot where everyone's nice. And Professor Oak is indeed his grandfather, which is nice. So now we're going to do something called saving. We're going to hit the X button. And right here, we're going to select save. We're going to save our progress. As you can see, they've shown you how many Pokemons you've had in your Pokedex, your ID number, your money, your playtime, and the date you started. And they also show you your gym leader with the gym badges, which is a nice touch, admittedly. So I'm going to click on Save My Progress. There, we have officially saved the game. Over here we have a Slowpoke, which I didn't know he would be that big in this function. There's something else that you should know about this Pokemon game. This Pokemon game was supposed to be played with other people. It was supposed to be actually a game that was deduced to having fun with the family. So, if you look at the left-hand corner, you will see a Pikachu that's been waving a Joy-Con the entire time. What happens when we actually introduce another Joy-Con into the game? And we wave it. We have the female character. She's here. We can control 2 characters here. This is crazy. And this is an accomplishment. Because now we see that we can render 2 trainers on one screen, which we haven't been able to do before. So, let's see what happens when we fight this trainer. As you can see, both me and the other trainer that's played by the second Joy-Con is also in the battle. We're going to throw the first and second Pokemon respectively. And as you can see, this is a 2 versus 1. This feels like cheating, because it is. We're basically going to go ahead and double team this poor Oddish. Not only are we higher level, if you were still having trouble, we can go through the game double teaming everyone. Thanks, Pokemon, because this is exactly what we needed. And there you have it. We've taken out the other Oddish. And it was a lot easier. Not only can we go ahead and basically fight these trainers like this, we can also catch Pokemons together. 2 chances of catching those Pokemons. However, for now, we're going to exile this trainer. To dismiss the trainer, basically just wave the Joy-Con that is in question controlling them. And then they'll jump into the sky, never to be seen again, until you wave that Joy-Con to bring them back and summon them again. It's basically a summoning. This guy's a coach. He's supposed to be stronger than the average trainer. Now, we're pretty much done with Oddish for the rest of the game. We're going to go ahead and use our Pikachu, which is all we ever needed for this game. we will fight this trainer. He wants to prove his strength. These trainers are oftentimes more powerful than the other trainers. And there's a certain reason that you're supposed to fight them. We'll be seeing as to why that is after this battle. He summoned his Bulbasaur while we'll throw out our Pikachu. Our only move that we should use is Headbutt here. A normal move. Our Thunder Shock and our Double Kick will be resistant. Double Kick resistant to poison, while Thunder Shock resistant to grass. We'll be using Headbutt again. As you can see, his Bulbasaur is on level 11, meaning we are definitely strong enough to take him out. Let's get him out the way. We have successfully defeated Bulbasaur. We've done it. And that was Trainer Karen. He's been utterly humiliated. Easily. He's given us a good item. He's given us a revive. Usually in the Pokemon games, you do not get revives this early in the game. But we already have one. That's amazing. This youngster turned a few times, and he missed me. We were able to miss him, and it seemed like a glitch in the game. So let's keep going, and let's see what happens, and let's see what develops. He's now showing a Spearow, which we could have found on Route 22. But we chose not to care about him because we never really cared about Spearow. Spearow had a very funny animation when we attacked him with the Thunder Shock. He basically flinched and moved pretty awkwardly and funny. This youngster is very upset. He's crying. Youngster Calvin he's not okay with everything that's been happening. This route was basically been considered to be a transitional route. We're going to dodge this trainer. This route was always strange to me because this route was right after Pewter City, and this is right before we're introduced to another platforming puzzle, if you will. We will be introduced to the cave, and this route is a precursor to getting to that cave. So now she has the female Nidoran, which is fitting. So now we're going to take out that female Nidoran. Also, this location was conducive to finding female Nidorans. We're going to hit it with a Thunder Shock. Now the Pokemons have made it to the point where they're not getting one shot. However, when we get stronger moves, they will be getting one shot again because we'll just have better moves. And there you had it. We made it. We've taken out the Pokemons. Let's get this Pokeball that is extremely described. Oh, it's a lure. A lure is actually an item that they've taken inspiration from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. The Pokemon lure is actually used in Let's Go. The same way that it is used in Pokemon Go. The lure is just a spawning tool. It spawns Pokemons in mass production in dead spots, and then the Pokemons are now able to be caught. It also has an increased chance of spawning a rare Pokemon. And now our Pikachu is finally made to level 13. Youngster Ben is highly upset. He cannot believe that he's been taken out. So now, as we keep going, we found the new sign. Basically says Route 3, Mount Moon ahead. Mount Moon is going to be our first cave or dungeon, if you will. There's another trainer that's going to give us a particular item if we defeat him. Here we have this Pokeball that's trying to be hidden, but it's definitely not. We also have this hiker that's outside the Pokemon Center. Inside this Pokemon Center, anybody that's played original Red and Blue would know that this is our chance to get the Pokemon Magikarp. This is the guy that will be selling the Magikarp. He'll be selling it for 500 points. Normally, this would be a horrible thing to do because you have no way of training that Magikarp unless you switch him in and out of battles. However, in this game, we're sharing experience. We can actually do something with this Magikarp. So we'll take the Magikarp that was given to us, and we'll actually switch him into the party. We will be taking out this Pikachu. So let's go to the party and let's hit the Y button. This Pikachu will be exiled. Removed from the party. And now we will be adding Magikarp. And we'll be adding this Magikarp to the 6th slot. Never to be used, but hopefully to one day evolve into a Gyarados. To not be used. So now we're actually going to go over another mechanic that we have. We can actually have Pokemons following us, which we haven't had that mechanic since Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So I'm going to have Magikarp follow us. I'm going to click on Magikarp, and I'm going to go to take out a Pokeball. So now Magikarp will be following us. To keep the meme alive and to keep the game fresh, we're going to have Magikarp follow us because it's hilarious. For a Pokemon that's following us, he sure is jumping ahead. And right here, we've made it to Mount Moon. Nice touch that we have in Meowth. That's just sleep on top of Mount Moon. Let's go in. Now we're in Mount Moon. Immediately, we're greeted by Team Rocket, Jesse and James, respectively. Jesse and James was supposed to be a nod to the anime in the original Pokemon Yellow. And it gives more cadence and personality to the game as a whole. By having ties to the anime, being Jesse and James, it makes this journey feels a little bit more potent. So now we're going to see new Pokemons in this lair, such as Zubat. And we should see things like Geodudes, parrots, and other things of that sort. We're going to go for this Pokeball, knowing that this trainer would catch us. He's telling us that we look very suspicious, but of course, this Pokemon game is a suspicious game indeed. We have kids that are waiting in caves to battle us with a Butterfree. It can't get more suspicious than that. So here you also see how they have also stepped up their game. Not only does he have a fully evolved Pokemon, his level cap is actually heightened too. None of it matter because he fully evolved to be weak to Thundershock. So we're able to make quick work of that Pokemon. And now we picked up 5 Great Balls. Great Balls have a higher rate of catching than the actual Pokeballs. So as we keep moving, we have our Magikarp that's just chilling ahead of us. There is no probable way to avoid this trainer, so we're going to have to get into this battle. These caves and these dungeons, they were supposed to be endurance tests. As an RPG, you would have an endurance test where you would go inside of a cave or massive land or platform, and you will be tested on could you maintain a sufficient amount of magic points, or in our case PP, and health points in order to make it through the dungeon. And usually those dungeons will be greeted by a final boss at the end of the dungeon. However, sometimes Pokemon would use the final boss method, and they would not use the final boss method. We're going to not choose to learn Horn Attack. We're going to keep our old moves. She flicked her hair and gave us 3 Pokeballs. We greatly appreciate it. There's a Geodude. We were attempting to catch that Geodude, but the scripted scene had zoned us in on Jesse's 360 degrees of vision. Thank you, Pokemon. That was amazing. Here's Paris. Let's catch Paris. Paris has always been an interesting Pokemon. Sometimes people forgot that he even existed in Gen 1 because he looks so basic. I always thought Paris' design was pretty cool. However, Parasect was a different story, but that's neither here nor there. We're not at that Pokemon yet. Apparently this Paris is giving us a lot of trouble. Our bad aim is also giving us a lot of trouble. This should be a good catch, conducive to catching Paris. And now we should feel more good that we caught this Paris. It's quite a trip that we're not able to just catch these Pokemons on the regular. Now, as you can see, as the Pokemon's levels begin to rise, catching them is becoming more increasingly difficult. This is good scaling. This is to show you that the game is progressing and increasing, just like any well-respected RPG should do, even if this one is not well-respected, for obvious reasons. Now we're going to catch Zubat, the Pokemon that has no eyes and it uses its sonar to detect a presence of another being. Zubat is also known for being a Pokemon that's not really that powerful. His stats for pre-evolved Pokemon are pretty subpar and terrible. Really, this Pokemon doesn't become good until Gen 2, when it can have access to a third evolution where it can become Crobat. And we're failing at catching this Zubat. Hopefully we catch this Zubat with this one, because Zubat can be quite a pain to catch when he's flying around. All flying Pokemons pretty much are. That said, great. Let's see if it's really great. Can we catch this Zubat? No, we can't. It must have been pathetic. And there we have it. The Zubat ran away. That's another mechanic that they have. Just like the Safari Zone, Pokemons can indeed run away. There's a big Onix. Looks like a big target. It should be hard for us to mix that Onix. Let's go and try to catch that Onix. There's something cool that I want to demonstrate once we catch this Onix. Is that Pokemon Let's Go also took cues from Sun and Moon, mainly in the concept of riding Pokemons. The follow feature they've also integrated with that concept. They're now able to allow you to ride Pokemons that you've caught. So I'm going to give this guy a Raspberry to improve his chances. I'll give him another Raspberry to improve his chances again. And now I'll throw the Pokeball. This should make it easier to catch. And the proof is in the pudding. We have caught the Pokemon. So now we're on our way. We have an Onix. We have a Pokemon that's big enough for us to ride. We will not be earning Stun Spore because we do not care about that Pokemon. We won't be earning much. And now we have our Onix. Over here, we're going to attempt to dodge this trainer. We've done an excellent job. We've got an awakening and we've dodged this trainer. They didn't rotate and come into action fast enough. Here we have a Clefairy. Let's catch it. This one should be smaller because it has the blue aura around it. It's a rare Clefairy indeed, meaning that this Clefairy is special. As far as special can go in a Pokemon setting. And there we have everybody leveling up. If you notice, we get the level up prompt only when we're able to level up off of catching a Pokemon. While in trainer battles, they deemed that it would be too slow to show this animation. So we just have the basic text telling us that we are leveling up. Now we have another evolution. We're going to demonstrate that we can stop an evolution by pressing the B button or the down button respectively on the other Joy-Con. we denied Metapod a chance for evolving. If you are that so attached to a Pokemon's appearance, such as the cuteness factor, you can negate their evolution by pressing the B button. That's something that has been in the Pokemon series since the very beginning, and it has continued so forth here. So now we're going to progress. We're going to go down these stairs. Inside these stairs is basically like a little cave. It's hard to believe a 10-year-old can actually go down these caves, but in Pokemon World, anything is possible. There we can see a Team Rocket grunt member, meaning that Team Rocket is investigating this cave because they want something. I wonder whatever it could be. Fossil Pokemons, perhaps. Who knows? We have this Zubat. This Zubat should be bigger than normal. We're not going to waste time with this Zubat. We're running away. So now we're going to go back up the ladder. We'd rather not dirty our hands by fighting that Team Rocket grunt. It'll just be another battle. So now we're going to go ahead and push forward. We're going to go this way, and we're going to keep going. There, we're treated to James. We saw Jesse a minute ago. He wants us to stop following him, but that's not possible. That's the youngster. He's caught us. Why these kids are in this cave that's a very dangerous place with criminals, we'll have no idea. The Pokemon world is a very strange place indeed. And now he's summoned this Sandshrew, which is a new one for us to see. Sandshrew is actually a mouse Pokemon, just like Pikachu. So of the same type and class, but if you notice, Sandshrew is actually a ground Pokemon. So he's resistant to our electricity attacks. He technically would be able to beat our Pikachu if he would have a move such as the ground move. However, he doesn't. So I'm going to hit him with Headbutt one more time and he's done. Our Pidgey is leveled up. That's cool. This youngster's so sad, but I don't know why he's stuck into this cave. Here you have a hiker. It's very logical for a hiker to be here. That makes perfect sense. In the olden games, those pearls were used to basically sell and just another way of getting money. So let's go ahead and proceed. There's a Geodude. That's exactly one of the Pokemons that's on our list. We'll catch this Geodude. Geodude's design has always been pretty cool to me in my personal opinion. However, we've been having a very hard time in throwing these Pokeballs to these Pokemons. That aligns another flaw of playing this game in dock mode. You have to use the motion of the throw to actually catch the Pokemons. As you can imagine, that can be very difficult. Especially if you're getting tired or you're lazy. So if you've been doing long marathons of this game, as if yours truly, it can be kind of taxing on you to try to catch and throw these Pokeballs. This game is not for lazy people. If anything, the Go franchise is not for lazy people. The Go franchise encourages you to basically walk around, meet people, and interact in your social environment. This game, while it's condensed to a console, it still wants you to at least move and be energetic. Such a shame. When we get Sword and Shield, they won't want us to move as much. But we'll be seeing how some of these mechanics carry over when that time comes. So there's just no avoiding this Rocket member. He's just standing there waiting me. As you can see, that Rocket logo looks pretty cool. That's where a good amount of the budget of this game might have went, towards that Rocket logo. Now he's throwing his Drowsy. Drowsy is supposed to have been the Pokemon known for kidnapping kids. That's not the best thing to be known for. Let's take out Drowsy with a Thunder Shock. Drowsy pretty much has some pretty good special defense. Hypnosis should put us to sleep. That's bad. We have a Pokemon that's asleep. I don't know if we have an item such as Awakening to wake him up. Yes, we do. Let's use this Awakening. Now he's using the Psychic move Confusion. Hopefully we don't get confused. We're going to use the move Headbutt. Let's see if his defense is a lot lower than his special defense. Yes, it is. Drowsy's dead. That Drowsy tried to put up a pretty good fight, but in the end, moveset and pure stats will always prevail. We really don't need Quick Attack. We should outspeed most Pokemons. I want to paralyze them. And now this grunt has been defeated. His reaction is, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But he's been taken out. Here we accidentally prompt to talk to our Pokemon, who apparently Magikarp says he's extremely interested in Geodude we just caught. Why? Because he can take him out because he is a water Pokemon versus a rock Pokemon. And now we found Team Rocket looking at nothing. Thanks, Team Rocket. Meanwhile, Geodudes are just bumping into us. We're going to run away. We don't want those type of problems, Geodude. We're out of here. So as we make our way out through the cave, this is technically known as Pokemon's second dungeon. The Viridian Forest would count as the first one, but this is the second. It's also a cave style, which is a style that they're going to love to revisit in later entries. But not just a regular cave. They will also like to introduce ice caves of some sort as well, to give a little bit of a graphical texture type of difference. If the atmosphere is different, then it could do wonders for making it feel different. However, it's not. The cave is systematically the same. So now she sent out a Zubat, one of the worst pre-evolved form Pokemons of all time. And he's fighting an electric Pokemon with his weakness, with his name on it. Thundershock should make quick work of this Zubat. And that's another Team Rocket grunt taken out. The speed of this game is actually not really that slow compared to what it could have been. Right here, we've made at the crossroad where this guy is a fossil hoarder, where he'll be giving us the choice of picking what fossil Pokemon we want upon defeat. So right now he has his Voltorb. Voltorb, an interesting Pokemon, the Pokeball looking Pokemon. Now would be a good time to mention that usually when you're fighting Voltorbs, you're worried about something like static. This game has taken the liberty of actually disregarding special abilities. Things like Intimidate, no, there's no special abilities in this game. They've deemed them to be useless. So they've taken out the special abilities, which is a good and bad thing. It's bad for competitive gameplay, but it's actually pretty good for just going through the story. I don't have to deal with, for instance, this Magnemite having the ability Sturdy, which will keep him alive in one hit. However, a double kick would hit him twice anyway, so that wouldn't keep him alive. That's just one of the questionable changes of this game, but it made sense to dumb it down. And Red and Blue originally did not have special abilities. So now he's giving us a choice between either the Helix fossil or the Dome fossil. We always pick the Dome fossil because Kabutops looked cooler than Amistar to me. And he takes the other one, never to be seen again. So now we approach. Team Rocket should be intercepting us. They will act as our final dungeon boss encounter, even though we've seen them the entire time. In the original Yellow, we do not see them the entire time. They show up one time in this cave, and it's a big reveal. Here, they've been foreshadowed. Whether that's for the good or bad, you take your pick. They have their anime Pokemons, Coughing and Ekans, a poison type team. So we're going to be using Thundershock on the Coughing. And we're going to actually switch out this Oddish. This Oddish will not help us in this battle. We're going to switch out this Oddish and we're going to put in Metapod. Nah, it'll probably be better to put in Nidoran. Nidoran is also a poison type, so they won't have the type advantage on them. Oddish will only make this battle take a lot longer than it has to take. Acid is a multi-type move. Now we're in something called a double battle. Double battles were introduced in Gen 3, and they've basically what you would think they would be. Two Pokemons involved in a 2-on-2 battle. Some moves spread to attacking all opponents or two opponents, while some moves are still single arrow. We have tactics such as we can divide and conquer our attacks, or we could focus in on one Pokemon. I prefer to focus in on one Pokemon method because that increases our chances of winning, because now we have eliminated one Pokemon, so now we can have two moves per their one move set, and thus increasing our potency when we're fighting one Pokemon. So now we're going to tag team this Ekans. As you can see, you can select the dead Pokemon's sprite, and the game's smart enough to know that he's, well, not in the battle anymore, so they would make you fight Ekans. You can even attack a teammate, but I would not be attacking a teammate because that would defeat the purpose of actually getting through this game. Thundershock's bonus ability is finally triggered. Paralyzation. It has a very slim chance to paralyze, but a chance nonetheless. And now this should finish him off. One more Thundershock. And that should conclude the boss battle of this cave. Meaning the exit of this cave should not be too far from here. Now that we've defeated the bosses, Jesse and James. That was a pretty scary face, delivered here by James, or yours truly. So, Jesse and James have been defeated. We've ran into this Geodude that has just popped in and spawned. We'll be running from this Geodude. As you can see, they had a blurred effect when you were in the menu of running from the Geodude. Not sure how I feel about that, but it's not that bad of a touch. So now we're going to go up the ladder. And it took us to Route 4, outside of the cave. Immediately you feel like a breath of fresh air. Now that you have made your way out of the cave, this is one of your big accomplishments in this game. This game is filled with to the brim with many moments of feeling accomplished. Due to the Pokemons being happy, leveling up, getting stronger, you getting to know new parts of the place. It was an interesting concept, and you can see why this franchise is alive to this very day. But this being a remake, you're not as excited as you would be if it's a new experience, so your mileage may vary. However, there are many new people that are getting into this game for the first time, and to them, it's completely new. So this is pretty much just a transitional path that should just get you to the next town, which should be Viridian City. And here we are, Viridian City. I almost said Viridian Town. So now we see the bike shop is right here. In this bike shop, as you would look around and see, we used to be able to ride bikes, but in this game, there's no buying bikes. It's only a memory. It's one of the design choices that a lot of people are upset with. You're not able to buy a bike. And for good reason. A lot of people would be mad about something like that. Our Pikachu is trying to tell us something. However, we do not fully care. In Cerulean Town, we should be able to actually get one of our first starting Pokemons. We should be able to get a Bulbasaur here. Basically, in the anime, the Bulbasaur ran as the head of the daycare center for underprivileged refugee Pokemons. In this game, there's a plot point where it's following suit with Yellow, where you're able to get a Bulbasaur, you're also able to get a Charmander, and you're able to get a Squirtle. Here we keep messing up and talking to our Magikarp. One of the downsides of following Pokemons. May I tell you some interesting little bits of trivia about those badges? No, sir. We've played a Pokemon game before, but if you didn't, helpful hints are all over this game. They're basically there just to guide newcomers and ensure that they have a smooth transition to the world of Pokemon, which is commendable. Here, I don't know how this lady has an Onix that fits in her house, but she has found the way. She has somehow made that work. And here we have Officer Jenny. And we have the Pokemon Center. We're going to halt here for now. We're going to go ahead and heal our Pokemons. And we're going to call it a day. This has been the first phase of the analysis. We'll be going farther into this game, delving deeper and seeing how things go from here on out. This has been a very interesting look, or retrospective, if you will, of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. All right.